Well, a three-judge panel rules partially in favor of Governor Josh Stein in his lawsuit against Republican lawmakers. Stein sued over laws the Republican-led General Assembly passed last year, stripping powers from the governor. A three-judge panel in Wake County ruled restricting the governor's ability to fill judicial vacancies goes against the state constitution, but they did allow laws that take away the governor's power to appoint people to boards that determine housing and energy policy to move forward. Those orders, though, can all be appealed.
Joining us this morning, Chief Legal Analyst Khalif Rhodes. Khalif, when we take a look at this, they're able to stop the governor from being able to pick those judges. Why is, even if other changes were able to go through and stand there, why is that such a big deal, stripping that power?
Why did the General Assembly want to strip it, or why did the three-panel judge say that they can't do that?
Yeah, why did the three-panel judge say they can't do that?
It's in the Constitution. It's Constitution. It's a constitutional violation, and so the standard was that you have to prove that they've done something that's unconstitutional. And as Julian mentioned in the intro, they split the baby. They went one way on the appointment to these boards, but they went the entire other way on the appointment of judicial officials. As someone that's went through that process a couple of times in terms of the judicial process for appointments, that's something that the governor has sole discretion, but because it's based in the Constitution. The General Assembly for a number of years has attempted to weaken the governor's stance. This isn't a Stein situation. This was Cooper. This was McCrory. The General Assembly has attempted to do this for a number of years as a way to try to claw back and take some of that authority from the governor's office. But if you can control the judges, then obviously a lot of things that you're attempting to do will be easier to get past, and it will slow down the process of things getting stopped via injunctions on the local level.
Khalif, I want to ask your analysis, not so much of the legality of the decision, but your thoughts on the governor appointing judges, because it seems like whoever has the most time and power gets to appoint a board that would be favorable, or judges that would be favorable to them, and then you see kind of the, okay, well, we have a Republican leaning one or a Democratic leaning one, but the law's supposed to be blind.
It is supposed to be blind, and I mean, but this is historically how it is. I mean, if you go right down the street to South Carolina, in South Carolina, they don't have elections at all. All of their appointments for judicial folks all of their judges are filled through appointments. So that process is even a step further away from, I think, from the people. But in terms of the appointment process, yes, the party that's in power, specifically the governor, does historically have the power to fill those vacancies. And typically the way it would work is that they would be in connection with the local bar. So the Mecklenburg County Bar in this situation, if there was a vacancy here, would send out notice to all of the licensed attorneys in the state and would say, in the county, and would say, hey, we have a vacancy, a seat's coming up. Put your name into that. And it's like a mini race within the bar. You know, you kind of campaign within the bar and try to get folks to support you. And then there's a list of 1 through 3, sometimes 1 through 5, and those names are submitted to the governor. Then the governor will do their own due diligence, talk to folks, make a connection, and see who he thinks would be the best person to fill, he or she would be the best person to fill that seat. That's the way the process typically works. This new rendition of how the General Assembly would do it, or at least suggesting to do it, would be something different, where the governor would have to take their recommendations going forward. And this judge that was actually on this panel was appointed in that specific way, because this is something that was already rolled out. Shirley Graham was actually given this special Superior Court seat as an appointment from the pro temp, which is a process that's outside of the scope of how it historically would have been.
You got, Khalif, the governor's office saying, we need more power so that we can run the state more effectively. You got the legislature saying, no, we need more of a voice so that we can. How does this battle go back and forth? What does the Constitution of the state say as far as who's got more power, and how do we split it evenly so that it can be the best for our citizens?
I love that question. It's similar to what I've said on the federal level for the last couple of weeks, maybe months, is that there is an equal separation of power. We have 3 co-equal branches on the state level, just like we do on the federal government level. And so while folks are trying to pull power from the other side's authority, all that happens is now you increase the amount of litigation that will take place. This isn't the first lawsuit that Stein has filed. I mean, he filed a number of ones. In December, the State Highway Patrol, they also challenged the Board of Elections because the General Assembly took it from the governor and sent it to the auditor. I mean, so all of those changes were challenged in court. And so every time you challenge one of these things in court, that's costing the folks in North Carolina, each and every one of us sitting here, more money so they can fight this out, not in the court of public opinion, but actually in court. That's not free. These folks that they're asking to go up there and stand up in front of this hearing every time cost. And then, as you mentioned before, it's appealable. So now Stein can say, all right, I like the fact that you went one way with this, but I don't like the fact that you still strip my ability to fill these government appointment boards. So now I'm going to appeal that. Well, that's more cost. at some point we'll get back to some type of reasonable sense of working together and having that three, co-equal branch. But right now it's a fight for power and everybody wants someone else's plate.
I don't know if I put money on that one, Khalif. Our Chief Legal Analyst Khalif Rhodes weighing in for us. Khalif, thank you.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.